Hi everyone, my name is Howie YIN. I'm a licensed immigration advisor. So today I just want to talk about what is my job and what is my role as a licensed immigration advisor and why I found this job interesting. I found this job fascinating and challenging. Previously, I was working as a police officer, and a lot of people asking me why I left the police and then become an immigration advisor. So when I was in the police force, I studied the legal system, trying to be a prosecutor, and that could take a long time. And I just thought immigration is something that could actually be really useful, so I can use my knowledge. I was in China for a long time. I was in China for a good 18, 19 years in China. I studied in China, then I went to New Zealand and I studied Medicine University and join the police and understand the legal system here. I was once interviewed by Immigration New Zealand to be an immigration officer as well. I was also interviewed by the Australian Immigration and American Embassy in China for some positions in China. But so in 2013, I left the police and did immigration course. As you can see, it's now on the wall. So at the time, it takes about 6 months to be a licensed immigration advisor, and I believe now it takes about a year to be a licensed immigration advisor. And it's gone a little bit strict nowadays because if you want to be a licensed immigration advisor, you have to understand the code of conduct, you have to understand the professional responsibilities, you have to understand what you do is, how when people complain about you, understand your internal complaint procedure and everything. So it is important that we as licensed immigration advisor understand what we do. There are quite a lot of people in the society and that say, well, they're helping somebody to do the form, they're helping somebody to provide immigration advice that are unlicensed. So it is actually against law in New Zealand if you don't have a license and you tell people what to do in terms of visa conditions and visa applications. So what we learned when I was back at the school is about how to actually talk to immigration officers and how to email immigration officers, and what knowledge would I actually use to talk to immigration officers. Quite often, if you lodge your own visa applications, you don't know who you're dealing with. Quite often, if you make a phone call to immigration yourself, they could put you on hold for an hour or 2 hours, and at the end of that 1 hour, you become scared and you're not interested. So we actually have a fast trust line. So we have this 0800 number that we can call immigration, and usually they will answer the phone call very quickly within 5 minutes. So we use operational manual to talk with immigration officers, and because immigration officers very high turnover positions, and last time I went to Manukau Immigration Center in Manukau City, I understand the turnover rate for immigration in New Zealand is more than 45%. So when you have a very high turnover rate, immigration officers, they're not trained to do their job. And quite often our job is to remind immigration officer what to do and what legislation and which part of law they should be referring to. And quite often there are a lot of untrained immigration officers making decisions. Immigration policy is it's a very blurry area. When you catch a criminal on the street and that person actually go and steal something from the shop, you have to have evidence to charge somebody. You have to have the evidence beyond reasonable doubt to charge somebody and put someone to court. But immigration officers don't need to have that evidence. They can just decline you based on bona fide. They can decline you based on they think you have a bad intention, and that's not the same as when you go to court. You have to prove, you have to use all the evidence to show this person is a bad person. So our job is to remind the immigration officer to make a decision based on evidence. You're not making decisions based on what you think. You're actually making decisions based on what evidence you got. You can't make an unbiased, a biased, decision. You can't make a decision without considering the whole facts. And quite often we make successful cases because we can make a case to show the big picture. When client lodge applications and difficult ones, they don't actually look into the case into a big picture. You need to basically talk about your wife and talk about your children and talk about your plan, talk about all these and that. So I remember I had a case where the husband was unlawfully in Australia for a couple of years, and then went to China, and they had declined case to Canada and New Zealand as well. And we successfully got him over because his wife was studying here at a master's degree, and for humanitarian grounds, this person should be granted a visa. But it's really how you present yourself, it's really how you make a case to immigration officer, how you actually attach all the documents in the immigration online form. And that's why, sometimes you can do this yourself. If you speak good English, if you understand the system, and you can do it yourself. But there are some cases that I suggest you don't do yourself, such as essential skills work visa. A lot of people don't understand what is skill match report. What is how do you prove that the advertisement was done fairly? So there are a few cases that I do not recommend you to do yourself. And there are cases when you are unlawfully in New Zealand and when you didn't even know that your visa has expired, and that's when you come and see us. So we're here every day. I'm here every Monday to Friday. I've just learned I do yoga in the morning. It's really good because I had a neck problem. I've also learned from a scientist called Dave Sinclair about the intermittent fasting. So I'm fasting in the morning. I don't eat until 1 o'clock, and apparently fasting causing promote autophagy and promote stem cell regeneration. And I was going to talk about the health system as well. So quite often you get case decline because you don't meet the medical requirements, and then that's when you apply for medical waiver, and you apply to seek a waiver. So I guess we need to learn a lot of knowledge about health conditions, diabetes and kidneys and biopsy, renal diseases, heart diseases, and all this information is important for us to understand during our career as working as an immigration advisor. I basically love my job, and I think this is fantastic, and you get paid for what you're doing, and sometimes you get a big case, you got approved, you actually celebrate, and I actually think I'm doing really good for my client, and they actually settle down here, have a life here. Moving from a country to another country is a very big decision, and me as an immigration advisor, I help them. I find a home for them, and they could contribute to the economy, and the government needs to understand that the immigrant is taking a very difficult journey to come to this country and settle down here and become a taxpayer. So I guess my job is to help immigration New Zealand find the right person, and give them a good journey in New Zealand, and understanding how the system works here, understanding about tax system, about accounting system, about educating employers as well. Quite often there's a bit of Chinese employer don't understand tax and pay cash and things like that, and this should never be happening in New Zealand as well. So anyway, I think I talked too much today, and thank you very much for watching my video. My name is Howie YIN, and I'm based at level 7, number 47 High Street, Auckland CBD. If you're interested in yoga, if you're wanting to know more things about intermittent fasting, then let me know. I'm always here. Keen to talk about these cell regenerations, neuron regenerations, and promoting stem cell growth and longevity. Thank you.